Hey, how's it going, everyone? Hope you're doing well. We are back with the next One Piece chapter review. We are on chapter 1074, and this one is titled Mark 3. Now, our cover story is the Cold Blooded Voyage, the next installment, and it is Caesar, Judge, and Queen all in fighting now for the number 2 position. So they all seem a little bit older. We've got them more developed in their respective areas of science, and we must have this dynamic of just constantly trying to one up each other, constantly trying to duke it out and fight to get that second position in Mads. So pretty nice. We got Queen's got Judge in a headlock. Judge is spearing Caesar, and Caesar's just given Queen a punch. So all in all, seems pretty on brand for the three of them during their time in Mads. So our chapter brings us in back into the Fabrio stratum, that bottom layer, and we see all the Marines fighting, and there's loads of fires and explosions in the background, and we've got the question of where these are meant to be the Marines. What are these government weapons doing? We've got a few Marines, CP0 agents saying that you'll pay for hurting our men. And almost all of a sudden, we see a shot of a new technique from a pacifista. We see it create like this sort of bubble in its hand, and sort of as it swipes across, it just completely absorbs the explosion, sort of nullifying all damage. A pretty cool ability. And as it swipes it across, we can see everyone reacting, being like, oh, it's using its bubble shield. That ability is the ultimate defense now in Vegapunk's arsenal. And we sort of get a sick shot of the introduction of these new pacifistas in this like sort of black, sort of very egghead styled armor that we're seeing everyone kind of wearing. All the straw hats are in sort of black attire now from the clothing that Vegapunk is putting on everyone. And just getting that sort of resistance is futile line, surrender and we can proceed on, and no one will have to die. And we sort of get that new confirmation that this is now the Mark III pacifista. So we can see it probably got its laser still in one hand, but its other hand has this sort of now bubble, ever flowing liquid. So unlike bubble shields in Halo, where it just sits on the ground, this one seems free-forming. It's able to block, move it, shape it. We don't know how big it can go. I mean, it was pretty big when it took the explosion out. Whether he can set it up in a certain area or it's just a body shield, who knows? It'd be very fun to see him use it in a proper fight. But we get that talk from the Marines or CP0 agents that these are now the most advanced prototypes. We have that the ones we saw in the Summit Wars were now nothing in comparison to these guys. So the only thing we can do is leave it here and just comply. And while they are looking after their injured, they are questioning who is the one giving these orders. Who is the one directing these pacifistas to attack the CP0 agents? And we get the shot of the initiating capture from the pacifistas. And this is where we cut away to the factory now, one of the factories. And we see loads of voices saying to not move, to you're going to open your wounds up, just chill, stay where you are. And we see Sentomaru propped up against the wall, saying that the pacifistas are doing their job. They're holding everyone off, but the Frontier Dome is now sealed off, and we can't even get a hold of Grandpa Punk, is what he says. But he's thinking back to when Luffy had just promised that he will, no matter what, get Vegapunk off the island. So he brings up a Dendemushi, and he's saying, right, the Navy is still trying to reach me. They still think that we're on their side. They're constantly trying to ring through. And he reconciles himself and says, right, I've now got to do whatever I can do. So very sci-fi, any generic sci-fi movie you can think of. There is just a number of pods, and he opens up all 50 Mark III units and deploys them. And he gives the order that Straw Hat Luffy will be taking Dr. Vegapunk on his ship. So your mission, if you choose to accept it, but they don't have a choice, is to see that they are safe and that they set sail safely. So the Navy might have something up their sleeve, so be on guard, be ready. But we can see shots now of all these 50 units moving through the Fabio Stratum. Everyone is now in a panic. They're saying, what is going down? Something's happening. And we get that incredible shot of no matter what happens, Sentomaru saying, your creator must escape. Oh, great. Coming back up now to the Labo Stratum, we've now got Luffy exhausted because he's ran all over the place looking for Vegapunk and saying, like, he's not here, we don't know where he is. And even the point of how much he's run, he's broken the shoes, and Chopper's saying, how did you break the hover boots from all that running around? And he's just saying that, don't snitch on me, I can't pay them back for having to break them. But he's now sitting in the room with everyone, so everyone is now back together where they originally were, with Shaka looking on the monitors. And we can see that Shaka starts saying, well, he was with Bonney, but I now can't find her either. Oh, well, Bonney is still there. And Luffy now questions, wait, what? And Shaka says, well, everything on this island, everything in this lab is transmitted to this monitor here. And Luffy's like, you could have said that to begin with, instead of me having to run around like a madman. But guess it is what it is. But we have a incredible shot here of all of the allies, we'll say, all of the Straw Hats and Vegapunk's allies on this side. And we've now got into the, I guess, era of tech wear, because we've got my boy Zoro in this incredible jacket, bomber jacket attire, sleek armor. He's got the shoes on as well. Interesting choice. He's got his swords now on his back, which I think is that a first for Zoro. Obviously, he always has his swords on his side, but I know he moves them around a lot. But this is a pretty cool choice to now put them on his back. Very Witcher-esque style of drawing a sword. But Brook as well has got like lovely long coat. He's got his afro contained within a helmet. And we've got Stussy taking on the female attire that Nami and Robin are wearing, and she's just wearing like a armed jacket. Interesting choice. But we've now got everyone together saying that we thought we were leaving. This is like Brooke saying the future is now. And Stussy's questioning where the stellar body is now and what's happened. And we've got a shot now of the whole crowd together. So most of the satellites, all of the Straw Hats are together. I believe, I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain. I know that Pythagoras isn't in the room right now. We see him a bit later. But I'm pretty sure Lilith isn't here either. We don't know where she is yet. But we have the rest of them. So we've got Shaka, York, we've got Edison and Atlas. Do well there. And they're all meeting up. Oh, yeah. So Atlas is now fine. We can see that. Just Shaka's reassuring everyone we've got a couple issues, but we can stay calm. The Stella's disappeared, but we are currently in search and we are looking for him. And we've got no control of the Frontier Dome. So whoever opened it and closed it, it's not them. They have lost control of that. And because of that problem, they are now trapped in the Labosphere. The dome that is up, yeah, people can't get in, but they can't get out. And Shaka explains, if we try to leave, the lasers are going to get us as well now. So it is now completely locked in. And during that scene, we've got Sanji swooning over York walking back. York is a lot bigger than I thought she'd be. She's like almost giant, and Atlas has been repaired. They found some spare parts, and she's completely healed. We knew Atlas was probably the biggest, but York in height comparisons probably the same. But York just seems to be like sitting down. Nami's trying to kick Lucci, and Robin's just trying to stop her. But guess what? Why not? Chopper seems pretty excited. Usopp seems to be trying to get a good look at what's on these monitors, trying to pick up on what Shaka is like currently looking through maybe and looking at. But all in all, we've still got that reaction from everyone of, well, Vegapunk is missing. How are we going to find him? How are we even going to be able to leave, Usopp is saying. And Shaka explained that the dome is really our secondary concern. We need to find Vegapunk first. We should prioritize him and then figure out a way to repair the dome in the meantime. And Frankie brings up, well, your monitors observe everything on this island. If he's not on any of them, how are we going to find him? And Shaka goes on to say, well, normally they do show the entire lab, but because of the rampage of the Seraphim, some of the monitoring snails, so the Denden mushies they have to set up for cameras, must have been knocked out of position. So there are now certain blind spots in their system that they can't see. So a lot of them decide on themselves to go and find Vegapunk. They group up and say, well, we know that Pythagoras is out there looking. Shaka's on the cameras. We need to get involved as well. So why don't we go? So Nami's like, oh, well, he might have some treasure. So the sooner we can find him, the sooner we can set sail. Let's go. And it seems that Brooke is also tagging along, potentially Jinbei, because they were all in the same panel. We've got Stussy saying, quite worried for him. So I'm going to go look for him too. And Sanji jumps on the opportunity now that Stussy is an ally to swoon along with her. Understandable from Sanji. My guy Zoro was like, look, why don't I help? If we just need to find this old guy, this geezer, and then we can head off. I'm not wanting to stick around. Why don't I tag along? And then everyone's reaction of, hold up. We're trying to find a guy who's lost. We're not trying to lose a second person. You just stay here. We don't want to lose you because we know what you're like with getting lost. So he resigns himself sitting down, and him and Luffy seem to be now on guard, you see, and it's such a good scene or shot of just Zoro and Luffy just relaxing back on this couch and whatever they're doing, and they're just talking about they formed their party, they've gone off, I guess they'll be fine. All this running around. How are you tired anyway, Luffy? Did you run that whole time? And Luffy's still out of breath, saying, well, I always go all out, so why? Of course I'm tired. And we've got Lucci, Kaku still out on the floor and saying, "What? Can't even believe these guys are here. Can you believe it? How has it been all the way back from Water 7? I wonder what Ice Boss is doing. I wonder what Iceberg is doing. Because it's true, we cut away a lot to see how other people are surviving or getting up to in the world. We've yet to check in with Iceberg yet and how Water 7 really are. I don't think we have any need to. But it's a nice little reference and callback to I wonder how they are getting on since the Water 7 arc. We've now got the lab, the poor room in which Bonney and Vegapunk were. And it's very quick that Vegapunk was pushed out of the way. So he was still in his baby form, we see, and Bonney's pushed him away. And Bonney is now in this realm. She's somewhere different. she has gone into the memories that were there, akin to whether this is Oda just linking it up, but almost that Limbs Memoria, the world of memories from Odyssey, which still playing through the minute, but it's a good game. Nice little tie-in that we're now being able to see that Kuma's ability isn't just what we know now about extracting these intangible objects. He is able to extract memories, and we see Bonney trying to interact with a very young Kuma, a child, saying what's wrong, what's up, and realizing it's her dad. And almost all of a sudden, these shadowy figures appear and start like provoking and ganging up on this young child, saying, "You, how dare you escape? We're gonna kill you like the rest of them." And Kuma's saying he doesn't want to go back. And at this point, Bonnie's trying to get close and prevent these shadowy figures from harming this child. But every step she takes, she can't get closer. She's running quite fast. But no matter how hard she tries, she can't close the distance. And she just has to watch. She just has to watch. And Kuma is now in floods of tears saying he can't go back. Just kill me. If I go back, I'll die anyway. So we can see them all bring out like weapons and starting to attack and hurt him. And we get this sort of like internal dialogue from Kuma saying, "Hurt, sorry, I, someone help me." And we get a shot of some like castle turrets and a shot of another shadowy figure just watching over. Now I can't tell if it looks very akin to what the celestial dragons were with like the little pointy top, and that also links to Kuma's relationship with the celestial dragons, to whether he experienced some brutality at their hands as a child. Maybe he was one of the slaves, because we know that there's slaves underneath Marie-Joie that help with the moving platform. Whether he was a slave there that whole time, he's experienced it. He was able to escape, and these people were victimizing him for trying to escape. And at this point, Bonney is in floods of tears and can't handle it, and she falls and pushes herself away from the memory. And we get a lovely side by side shot of as she's sort of composing herself. Kuma's still struggling to climb the wall. He's still going. And we hear shouts in the distance for him to be shot down. And we see Bonney trying to gain the resolve, saying, "I'm still not strong enough. I need to be stronger. I can't be ignorant to what you've been through, but I need to understand." Not right, Dad? And she goes again to lean over to touch the memories. But we don't get to see any further. We come all the way away to another part, I assume, in the lab. And just Pythagoras, chill along, walking, looking at the damage that's been caused so far. I'm sure a lot more is going to happen. And as he's pondering to himself where the Stella could be, he hears a footstep behind him. And just as he turns, there is a massive explosion at his location. Now, whether this is someone who's infiltrated at the same time, or do we have a traitor? Do we have someone working with the Allies but actually helping CP0 out at the same time? There's a lot of spin and plate at this stage. Stussy was on the CP0 side, and Double Agent flipped onto the Straw Hat side because she is a mad clone. with Vegapunk. Would Oda then go the route of, well, if Stussy's flipped, is somebody else actually also on the opposite team and pretending to be on this team? We didn't see Lilith. We haven't seen Lilith this chapter. We know she is the aspect of evil amongst the satellite bodies. So if that's the obvious choice, that she thinks actually what's going on should be rectified, we still don't know where Vegapunk is. It could have been Vegapunk. He's maybe changing, but I don't think he would. Can you imagine? I don't think it could be right now, but if Shaka was one of the traitors, so he's sat at these cameras the whole time, he's overseeing everything, and he's relaying to someone positions, places that are blind spots so he can't see you. But then he is the aspect of good, so I assume it can't be one of the satellites because it's almost a part of their directive to protect Vegapunk. But we have someone in the lab who is hunting down these people who are going to interact with these groups now that have gone off in search of Vegapunk, who is missing in his own island. Guess we'll see what happens there. But we come right away to the news. We get to see Morgan's little flying teapot ship where all of the birds go out for the newspapers. It's like, oh, incredible. Got this insane scoop. Wouldn't believe it. The world government intends on assassinating Dr. Vegapunk. Can you believe it? They plan to kill the world's greatest genius. It's O'Hara all over again. He's miscalculated this time. The good doctor is far too popular for this to fly. He's loved, and all of the energy he's drummed up, all the things he wants to do to help the world, this isn't going to go down well for the Marines. But he says, fortunately, guess who else has appeared? Brings up a wanted poster of Luffy, and he's saying, right, I've got it. The headline is Navy Skirmisher Egghead. Straw Hat Luffy, the Emperor, has taken Vegapunk hostage. I'm sure the government will appreciate that spin on it. He's so good at his job. So he's received the right information that the Marines want to harm or assassinate Vegapunk. But he's in control of the media, and he's saying, oh, I'll do the Marines a favour now. Help the Navy out. I'll spin it so that it looks like Luffy is the one who's trying to hold Vegapunk hostage. And that's why the Marines are there. And we just hear a shout saying, that's outrageous. Unbelievable. That wouldn't happen. We see, sat on a couch behind, is Vivi and Wapol. Wouldn't have put those two together, but we've got confirmation here that Vivi survived the reverie. We know that the reports were that her father, Cobra, had died at the hands of Sabo. And she's furious that Luffy would never do such a thing. The economic journal is such a rag. There's no way that you're going to be able to get this down. And we can see people in the distance saying that Vivi's borrowed clothes, but Wapol is freaking out, saying, keep your voice down. There could be a wiretap snail around here. The government will come for us if they find out we're here. And Morgan took us in, so we need to be nice to our host. But Morgan doesn't care. Morgan's like, whoa, big talk from a girl who's been bawling her eyes out till yesterday. Well, don't look down on me and don't tell me how to do my job. My words can shake the world. Besides, news isn't fact or fiction. It is merely entertainment. And that's where we end. We end with Morgan basically saying, whatever I want to spin, I have the means to do it. The Navy don't control what happens, the pirates don't control. He's the one, this king of the underworld, is in charge of what the public perceive. How he spins the stories, how it goes. Don't believe there's a break next week, but we've got a lot of questions to be answered. But let me know what you think. I'll see you later.